it's going to start. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much to the four of you. Thanks so much for coming. I hope you can hear me. It's great to have this chance to have a quick meeting together. And the plan is to, well, to share with you some of the feedback that you have given to us so far, and to give you maybe to try and get a little bit more feedback from you guys now in the meeting about the materials which we have already produced, and also to get some ideas from you about how to prioritize what we develop, what we design for the next phase of the project in June and September. Okay, so that is basically the plan. So we've got a few slides to show. I think, Erica, if you're going to share some slides now, we can do that, and we can perhaps get started.
Yeah. So okay, so it was really useful to get your feedback, so thank you very much. And the first bit of feedback was about the access to materials, so getting the materials. And some of you said that the materials, for some of you, it was okay to access on your phone, but for other people, it was a little bit difficult to access on your phone. And for some, that was about internet access. So I know some people said in their region, it's a little bit difficult, or perhaps the finances, of course, this is a problem. And I have some more questions a little bit about this. So I wonder, maybe are there problems with Padlet, with the platform that we're using? So I have some questions. Maybe there is a different platform that might be easier for you guys to access. Maybe it's easier to just watch the video, direct link to YouTube, not through Padlet. And just to see, do you have any other suggestions? Yeah. So I'll stop sharing my screen now, and maybe you can tell us, do you have any comments? Okay.
Maybe or
Njamba,
not sure.
maybe?
Or Njamba?
Yes, I think for me, the best is the direct link. Direct link is good for me. When Erica sent me the direct link, I was able to access the material problem.
Okay, so direct link to video is better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think if you can also send it through Dropbox. Dropbox is also good for me.
Which Dropbox? Oh, Dropbox is another option. Okay, so maybe Dropbox is one thing. We were also thinking about a Google Drive. Have you used that before?
No, I've not used it.
You haven't used it.
But Dropbox you have. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And Moises, hi. Now we know your name.
It's Moises. Excellent. Okay.
So Moises, have you used Dropbox before?
You could use.
No.
No. Okay.
And have you used Google Drive before? Yes, he has used Google Drive. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen again. So just to share some feedback about the lessons and the games, okay? So this was some feedback about the lessons. So you were saying that they were helpful to support you delivering the syllabus, which is great. That they had clear instructions, and it was really useful. So especially thank you to Kangala and Kasonda, because they gave me some really useful feedback about the speaking part of the lessons. Some of the listening lessons with the speaking part was a bit difficult for the students. So we're trying to add more support for the students for the speaking parts of the lessons. And also it was great to see that some people were using the materials even with year 8 or year 9. I know the materials are designed for year 10, 11 and 12, but you are creative teachers and it's good to see that you're adapting to other levels. And I think also for the games and activities, you guys were saying that the games were mostly new for you, or you'd heard about them before, but maybe you didn't use them yourself with your classes. And you were very positive that your students enjoyed or loved the games. And I think everyone said that they would use the games that they'd tried again, which is great. So we have we're interested to find out more. These are some of our questions. So we're interested to see if the level of challenge is okay, or if it's too difficult or too easy for year 9, 10, 11 and 12. So for those 3 years. We're also interested in if the material is working with your class size, and whether the material, the lesson materials fit for your 45 minutes, or if it takes too long to deliver the lesson, or if it doesn't take enough time. Okay, so I think Josh is going to ask some of those questions for us. I'll just stop the screen.
So if you use the lesson materials for a year 10, 11 or 12, was it about the right level of challenge? That's the first question. So right level of challenge, thumbs up, or not the right lesson level, thumbs down? What can you send a message maybe visually? Thumbs up from Moises.
Thumbs up.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
or
let's
not.
see.
Paolo,
Hi,
are you
Paolo.
there? No.
He was there at the beginning, wasn't he?
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Oh, you are.
listening.
That's good.
Yes.
What about you? What do you think about the level of challenge with your class? Was it about right, or too difficult, or too easy?
As I said before, when I gave my feedback of the materials, I think it's not so difficult, even though I adapt it for my learners, because I teach grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9.
Right.
I've adapted it.
Yeah.
Even though it is some difficult, but my students, they can understand the information that I was adapting to them.
Okay.
Great.
And what about with your class size, Paolo? Was it more or less about okay for the number of students you have?
Yes, it's okay, because in my school we have a good number of students. We have in the classroom we have 35 less. It was
nice.
okay, giving activity to the learners, dividing into groups, pair works. It works very well.
Great. And with the timing, does it fit into a typical 45-minute lesson from what you found?
Yes, it fits. No problem. Yeah. It fits for the time.
Paolo,
okay, great.
Amazing. I think Moises, did you have a question? You've got your hand up. Do you have a question, Moises?
No, I don't have a question.
Or a comment?
I don't have a question. Can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. I don't have a question, but I have a comment on the games that we saw on the group. Actually, the game helped a lot. I heard about the game before, but I've never thought that it would work with me. And as soon as I tried it, my students actually loved the game. And talking about talking about the time, it was somehow difficult for me to maneuver the game within 45 minutes because of the class size. I have a class with more than 50 students, which is totally difficult for me to play the game the way it should be. And but in fact, as you could see on the videos I share on Facebook, on our WhatsApp group, actually I could do something which the students really saw it was important, especially that game about find someone who. And there were some classes where I could see their potential, and I increased a little bit the level of difficulties as to their level of English background.
That's good.
That's great. That's really useful feedback.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Moises. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Okay, and I can see a message in the chat from Francisco, although he's just dashed away from his phone. He teaches year 11 and uses from time to time his PC to illustrate the picture. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
You said that in 45 minutes, it's difficult to do the whole activity in 45 minutes. So do you have some 90-minute lessons?
Actually, we do have some 90-minute lesson, and I usually do the following. I teach the grammar aspect when we talked about present perfect. I taught the grammar aspect in 45 minutes, and the 90-minute lesson is where I took advantage of exploring the time and applying the game and playing it several times, asking different students, and the students practiced it in the class without interfering on what they are producing. And by the end of the game, I give the feedback to the students on where they need to get improved.
That's great. Thank you, Moises. That's really useful.
Good to know.
Great.
Okay. What do you think? Should we ask about the videos now?
Yes, let's talk about the videos a bit. So I'll share my screen again. Here we go. So now we're going to think about the teaching techniques videos. And so far the feedback has been very positive, which is great. So people have been saying that they're relevant to their teaching context. They're very or quite clearly explained, and the video clip of the teacher in the classroom is very useful. I think most people have looked at the summary sheet and they said that's useful too, which is great. And it's quite useful for you, or very useful for you, but also you're thinking about other teachers and saying that it's very useful for them. So that's great. And it was interesting to see that for some of you, you said that they were techniques that you'd heard before, but you didn't really use yourself in class, or they were new techniques. And that the video had made you reconsider how you normally do this and maybe motivate you to try that technique, which is fantastic. And there was one person who said it was a technique that they already use, and it was a useful refresher to remember how to use that technique. And it was interesting as well that I asked if you would be happy to film yourself. I know Moises has already been filming in his class, which is fantastic. And everybody who talked about the videos said they would be happy to film themselves. So that's great. And maybe next week I'll start contacting people individually about how we might do that. And I also asked about what kinds of videos would be most useful for you. And you can see that the most popular one so far is motivating learners. So obviously that's something that everyone is hoping for some tips and ideas with. And some people also made some more suggestions as well, other things that they would like to get, maybe to see a video about. So I can see that you're very positive about the videos, which is fantastic. But maybe we have a question, which is, thinking about, we can't produce a lot of everything, so we need to prioritize things a little bit. So my question would be how useful the videos are compared with the lesson plans, lesson materials, and the games and the activities. Okay, so obviously there are these three parts to the resource. There's the lesson materials, there's the games and activities, and there's the videos. So I want you to think which part is most important to you. Okay, so who would say that the lesson materials are most important to them? Do you want to give me a wave if you think the lesson materials? Okay, Jose, thank you. Jose's given me a wave for the lesson materials. Okay, and who would say that the games and activities are most? Yeah, that's Moises, I think, with a little clap. Okay, and who would say that the videos are most important for them?
Okay.
Maybe.
And Francisco, you're waving at us? Yeah, which part is most important for you? Is it the lesson materials? The games and activities? The videos? Yeah? Yeah, the videos. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe give us a message, or maybe I'll message him later as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and
Okay, thank you, Njamba. That's great. You said the lesson materials and the videos.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Great. Well, look, we really appreciate you guys being here. I know it's difficult and it's a shame we have some technical problems, but it's so good to see you and get some feedback in the chat box and, you know, through the messages together. So thank you both, Erica and I, really thank you very, very much for coming. So what the next step is that we want to, obviously we'll try and get a bit more feedback. Maybe we can use the WhatsApp like Erica says. We're going to work on some more materials. And in the next couple of weeks, we will put some more materials onto the Padlet. These are going to be with the connecting with term 1, right? So they're going to connect with term 1. But maybe if the way you're teaching your syllabus, if you're a bit out of sync or you're doing it in a slightly different way, it may be that you can use the materials now at the end of term. You know, obviously that's for you to decide. Anytime you use materials from the project, please give us feedback. Mainly, we want to make sure that what we're creating and sending are as useful as possible for you and your colleagues and the other teachers in Angola. So any feedback to make us maybe change or redirect some of the questions or the content, really, really important and really helpful. There's always going to be a link which will take you to a feedback form, but you could also send feedback on the WhatsApp. If you know, any kind of feedback through any channel is going to help. And also, like Erica mentioned, we'd love some of the videos to actually be, you know, one of you guys maybe demonstrating the technique in your context. That will have a great impact, we think, for other teachers maybe who might use the videos in the future. So that is a plan as well. Erica, did I miss anything? Is there anything you want to add? I'm sure there might be.
I think that's great. Yeah, so we're going to continue creating materials. We'll share them with you. We'll be in touch with you, maybe one-to-one. And as Josh said, please, as much feedback as possible, because it helps us to make things better. And maybe we hope to have another meeting like this, yeah, in a few weeks' time to see how it's going before the end of your term. Yeah? so that before the end of your term, we can share any more information and see how things are going for you. Okay?
Wonderful.
Okay.
So have a good evening and a good weekend, and we'll be in touch. And thank you very much again. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you
Lovely
so
to
much.
see you.
Great to see you all.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, great. And I'm going to stop recording there.